Coming up on Broncos Connected, Peyton Manning and John Lynch will join Steve Atwater in Canton this August as they become the newest Broncos inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The men who coached Peyton Manning share the traits that made him one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. And Broncos general manager George Paton shares how he's settling into his new role less than 2 months on the job. Broncos Connected is next.
Had a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Empower Field at Mile High. Lock avoids a rush, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Denver! If you're not excited about this, not sure you're alive.
Hello and welcome back inside the UC Health Training Center for the February edition of Broncos Connected. I'm Alexis Perry. On the eve of Super Bowl Sunday, the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame goes from one hotel room to the next, surprising Hall of Fame hopefuls with the iconic David Baker knock, signifying their legacy will live on forever in Canton. This year's selection Saturday looked much different for the Gold Jacket finalist, but David Baker still delivered the news we all expected for Peyton Manning. The two-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time MVP, and 14-time Pro Bowler can now add first ballot Hall of Famer to his extensive list of accolades. With help from Peyton's wife Ashley, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, NFL Films, and the Denver Broncos were able to surprise the sheriff. Although I think it's safe to say it is impossible to catch Peyton Manning truly off his game.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to put the microphones on you, so we'll go all set. And I just want to walk you through, if you got a minute, so I'll tell you what we're going to do here, okay? So in the south end zone here is where we're all going to be playing, okay? What's going to happen is Peyton's going to be out here shooting something. I also direct the Peyton's Place, the TV show, okay? So he thinks he's coming here to shoot some stuff that we had to pick up that we didn't get somewhere else. So what we're going to do is you guys are going to be waiting in this tunnel, lined up, sort of in chronological order. So it'll be Coach Cutcliffe, Coach Fulmer, Coach Dungy, Coach Caldwell, and Coach Kubiak. We're going to be lined up in that order here, okay? He's going to be talking to a camera Peyton's going to be facing out this way.
What are you looking at? What the heck is going on here, guys?
Corner hammer.
I knew there was some kind of blitz coming.
Got 18 seconds on the play clock to decide what to do.
Am I supposed to keep looking forward, or can I?
We tried to tell them about your peripheral vision.
Is that right?
We had bets on how many seconds it was going to take. I think 3 seconds was the winner.
I knew something was. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm
good
good.
To see you. You good?
See, I'm great.
Good,
Doing
man. Good. Yeah, how you doing, man? Good to see you, pal. You doing good? Good. Coach? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. What's up, man? How you doing? I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Talked to you all week.
I
You
knew.
had no idea, did you?
I had my senses were up on something. Well,
We
really
were trying to
appreciate it.
surprise you, and it didn't
Didn't
come
work.
off very well, but we've got one more person here with a little surprise.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Dave, how you doing? All right.
I know you're a great lover of the history of the game. I want to thank you for all you've done for the game. I want to thank you for all you're doing for the game now and all you're going to do for the game. And I want to welcome you to Canton, Ohio. I promise you we'll keep your legacy alive forever.
Thank you, Dave.
Welcome to
Appreciate
Canton.
it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for. You got me. You got me. You know, my antennas were up. I will admit this little video recording session at Mile High was kind of a last-minute audible, if you will. And so, but what I didn't know was who was going to be there and how it was going to happen. So the fact that David Cutcliffe, Coach Philip Fulmer, Tony Dungy, Jim Caldwell, Gary Kubiak were all there, that just meant a lot to me. All those people have a lot going on, traveled from a long way away. And then, you know, the fact that turned to the video Jumbotron and had a recorded message from my high school coach, Tony Reginelli, who turns 87 next week, Jim Mora, my first head coach in the NFL, Tom Moore, my longtime offensive coordinator in Indianapolis, and then John Fox, who unfortunately was unable to be here. I felt like that was 30 years of football in about a 3-minute span, and that was a pretty cool moment. And I'm thankful to Ashley for kind of arranging that and quarterbacking that. They reached out to her on last Wednesday, and she kind of said, let's make this a football moment. So she kind of worked behind the scenes, and our kids were there. So it was really a cool way to find out. It's been a fun journey, and the people have what's made it all special to me. So thanks for bringing people that have made a big impact on my life, my football journey. So very, very cool, very, very special, something I'll always remember. The friendships and relationships that I made in this football journey, that's been my greatest takeaway. It's not a game, it's not a throw, it has been the people that have been a part of it, and that's teammates, coaches, of course my family, grew up in a football family, that's the equipment managers, the video directors, the fans. I was really lucky to play for two great organizations, the Ursay family and the Bolin family, so I guess that's what I'd want them to know, is how much I enjoyed it, how grateful I am. I was lucky to play with a lot of players that love football like I did, love to work hard, and when you have a lot of guys in common like that, you have a chance to have pretty good teams.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in number 18, Peyton Manning, and let him hold that trophy.
Talked to Von Miller and Emmanuel Sanders and Wes Welker, Demarius Thomas, Jeff Saturday, Reggie Wayne. You know, I mean, this list goes on of how many people, but I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed having a chance to tell them personally, you know, this is something that's more than a text, you know, saying, hey, and I haven't called them to share with them the news as much as I have to tell them thanks for being a part of it, because if you had to do this whole thing alone and celebrate a win by yourself or suffer a disappointing loss, it just wouldn't be worth it. And so the fact that I've gotten to do it and share it with so many people, family members, coaches, those type of people, the fans, that's been the best part of it.
Still to come on Broncos Connected. Some of the most influential people throughout Peyton Manning's career share the kind of impact the first ballot Hall of Famer had on them.
Welcome back to Broncos Connected. Peyton Manning is known as one of the game's greatest football minds, but not many can say they saw his preparation, processing speed, and professionalism firsthand. However, his coaches can. From his college days at the University of Tennessee to winning his second Super Bowl title, Peyton Manning has worked alongside some of the game's most prolific coaches. Those closest to him shared some insight into what made Peyton a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
How is Peyton different? Just, you know, he made everybody better. He made the coaches better. He made the players better. Everybody in the organization, Peyton made you feel like you were a part of his journey and his run. And he's just a special football player, but an even better person.
Probably his sophomore year, second or third ball game, he makes a throw from one hash to the other. And I kind of looked around because it was a rope. It was a frozen rope. And I said, this guy is really special. And a lot of it was his arm strength, but it was also his incredible mind and his anticipation of how to get it out quick and exactly where he wanted it to go. And, you know, the rest is history.
Well, Peyton was, to me, the ultimate leader because he wanted to win very badly. He wanted his teammates to be the best he could be. And so I think that's what he took the most pride in, is elevating the play of his teammates. And when you get someone that works like that, that leads that way, that takes the principles that you try to lay out as a coach, and he takes them to another level, and it makes it easy for you to coach.
Well, I know he's one of the most unbelievable competitors that you'll ever be around or witness, and it fueled his desire to go back again at some point in time. We didn't get back there together, but he got back there obviously when he came to Denver, and was able to kind of finish it out and do what he's certainly capable of doing, and that's winning a second one. But there's no question about it. He has an unbelievable desire to excel at the highest level, and I know that fueled his desire even more.
It's been one of the more unique things because I've seen Peyton at that very root of development, and then had the good fortune, I say good fortune, but after his surgery, He came down and lived with us a while in Durham to redevelop himself a second time. It's been the most inspirational thing for me as a coach. He made me better, I can promise you that, just to see his work ethic and his love of the game. In college, we're playing Kentucky. Peyton threw for 523 yards, 5 touchdowns. We scored 59 points. But this game got close. And then I always told people, I know exactly what Peyton's going to do, and I love that. He never surprises me. Well, we got the ball on about the 15-yard line going in. I got a play call, and he changes the play. And I'm like, what? What is he doing? And we end up scoring. So I asked him after the game, what's up with that? And he said, well, you had asked me to pad games, and 2 years previous, their defensive coordinator against such had lined up that way, and I just saw it, and I knew what was coming, and so I checked to a play that I thought would score. I said, good job.
I think people understood, defensive players and coaches understood with Peyton, if they did anything to tip off what they were going to do, he would recognize it and get in the right play to defeat it. So their whole process was, we've got to disguise, we've got to change, we've got to make sure that he doesn't get a tip-off on what we're doing. And he did. I mean, sometimes he would come off the field and I would say, well, how did you know that blitz was coming? Well, that guy's body language was a little different, or this was a little off, or I sensed I could just feel him edging towards the line of scrimmage.
He changed the game, and he played the game at the line of scrimmage. He as a quarterback, really called his game, from that standpoint. I just think his presence, on the field on game day, how loud he was from a standpoint of his verbiage at the line of scrimmage, all those things will go down in history because that's the way he worked, that's the way he prepared, that's the way he played. They're all different in their own way, these great players, but he was extremely special, and I think the way he went about it will always be his way.
There's a little quote that says, the purest sign of intelligence is your imagination, right? He has unbelievable imagination, because every play we would look at, he would see the play that we're installing and putting in. He'd always be thinking about, okay, what are we going to do next? I mean, he was always thinking ahead, always kind of designing little nuances to keep those plays good.
Peyton is the most unique football player that I've ever been around, in the fact that he kind of had it all: the great work ethic, the mind, the anticipation, the athletic ability, his camaraderie with his teammates, his willingness to work after practice until he got it exactly like he wanted to. It's just all that comes together into a Hall of Famer.
The drive that he had and the way that he played and the respect that he had from his peers around the league, there's no question he was going to be a Hall of Famer.
Peyton Manning will become just the third first-ballot Hall of Famer in Broncos history when inducted in August. But Broncos country will be celebrating 2 more legends in Canton, as safeties John Lynch and Steve Atwater will be enshrined as well. Lynch waited 7 years for the knock, and finally, David Baker surprised the 9-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl 37 champion at his San Diego home. Steve Atwater was elected as a member of the class of 2020, and while his induction was postponed, the wait will finally end this August as he takes his rightful place among the gridiron's greatest players.
Coming up on Broncos Connected, hear from Broncos General Manager George Peyton on what the first 6 weeks on the job have been like and how he feels about the Broncos salary cap with free agency just around the corner.
Welcome back to Broncos Connected. Last month, the Denver Broncos hired 24-year personnel executive George Peyton to fill the role of general manager. In his 14 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, Peyton helped acquire 22 Pro Bowl players. And that's just one of many accolades that should make Broncos country excited for the George Peyton era of Broncos football. From the moment he was hired, Peyton has been clocking in well before sunrise and staying well after closing time as he catches up on all things Denver Broncos. I sat down with the Broncos GM to learn how the transition has been and to get his assessment of the Broncos salary cap situation.
Personally, it's been gratifying. It's been an amazing, the first 2 weeks on the job was crazy. It was a whirlwind. Things were moving fast. And then, once you kind of meet all the departments, you meet the people, you start meeting the players, and then you kind of get in a rhythm and a routine with your day and with your week. And, now I feel settled. We're focused, we're moving forward, and it feels good. But it's been a great month. It's been crazy, being away from family and everything they're going through, but it's been great. With previous roles, coming from Minnesota or Miami, it was more just football. You could just watch tape, you could team build, you could meet with your scouts, and now in this new role, everything's bigger. First and foremost, it's about the football, and it's about learning the team and learning the Denver Broncos, and that's why they brought me here, is to build a team and build a winner and sustain a winning culture. And so it has to, first and foremost, it's about the football, and then I think I had to watch the tape just on my own and develop my own opinion on the players, and then meet with the coaches, meet with the scouts, meet with the trainers, meet with the strength and conditioning staff, meet with the sports psychologists, meet with really everyone in the building. But first I develop my own opinion, and then I get to hear what everyone else thinks. And obviously coaches are a big part of that. Vic and I have spent more time than anyone else in the building just talking football. And obviously he's got an incredible football mind. So it's been really good. It's been easy. It's been comfortable. He comes in my office quite a bit. I go in his office quite a bit, and that goes with all the coaches. I mean, it's been really good. It's been really easy, and it's going to continue. I came into a situation with a very healthy cap. John did a great job. Richard Tato's done a great job, and so we have flexibility. You never want to go, all in on free agency anyway. We're always going to be prudent, with our decision making. We're going to be active, in free agency, I think, but you never know. With the lower cap, it'll be interesting to see what players, come free, in the NFL. Some teams will have to cut players, and so it provides a secondary market that maybe we haven't had in previous years. And I think the good teams, the teams that are, sustained year in and year out, they hit on those mid to late rounders, and that's how you build the core of your roster, the depth. That's how you get depth at certain positions. You have to hit on those. Most teams hit on the first and second rounders, but the really good teams hit on the mid rounders and the late rounders. We're going to talk to all these players. We've talked to a lot of them at the Senior Bowl. We'll Zoom call with all the players, with our coaches and our scouts. And, we'll go to all the pro gays. We'll hit them all. So we're going to be around the players. We're going to talk to, most all the, the players, especially on our front board. And we'll get to know them as best we can, and we're just gonna, any way we can get an edge over the competition, we're gonna get that edge. Once you learn what Vic's looking for at each position, for his scheme, and another thing to look at is Vic is a 3-4 defense, but in nickel he's in a 4-down alignment, so that's probably 65% of the time. And so you see a lot of the similar type of players that you saw in Minnesota would be effective here as well. We learned, a while ago that. Other than talent, all these guys are talented, all these players are talented, but, you want guys to love football, and you want them to be highly competitive, and you want them to be smart, and that's what we'll be looking for here.
Coming up, head coach Vic Fangio surprised 40 Colorado high school football coaches with a virtual call during Random Acts of Kindness Week. Here's why Fangio still holds a special place in his heart for the Preps.
Welcome back to Broncos Connected. Broncos head coach Vic Fangio began his coaching career 42 years ago as a high school linebackers coach and defensive coordinator for his alma mater in Northeast Pennsylvania. As he's climbed his way up the ranks to the most coveted position of all, Fangio hasn't forgotten where it all started. That's why Coach Fangio held a virtual Q&A with 40 Colorado high school football coaches to remind them of the kind of influence they can have on their student athletes for many years to come.
Well, I started out coaching high school way back when, in the late 70s and early 80s, dating myself a little bit. But and I always remained in close contact with my high school coach, who the years I did coach high school was under him. I think he's the second winningest high school coach in the state of Pennsylvania in the history of high school football there. And he coached until his early 80s and would have kept going too. Always kept in close contact with him throughout my career. Once I left him coaching high school and went on to the college a little bit, but been in pro football since 1984. And I just always have a special, when I first started coaching, all I really wanted to be was a high school head coach eventually, and just like he was, and that would be it for me. But kind of got recommended to go try this, and here I am. So, but I think high school football is the roots of our game, and I think a good high school coach goes a long, long way in developing not the player as an individual. I still see when I go back home and kids that I coached in high school, they're no longer kids, obviously. And the relationships that ex-players have with my high school coach throughout their lives, I think is pretty special, because high school kids can be influenced in a good way. A good high school football coach can go a long way. So anything I can do to help in that regard, I'm always happy to do.
A special thank you to all the Colorado high school football coaches for their dedication to shaping the next generation of NFL hopefuls. Well, that's all the time we have for this month's edition of Broncos Connected, but be sure to follow us on Twitter at Broncos TV, and don't forget to subscribe to the Denver Broncos YouTube channel for daily Broncos television content. Thanks for watching.